Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the CEC Gurukul lecture series. I, Vipin Agarwal. Today we will be discussing about cost volume profit analysis. We are discussing about marginal costing. And in my previous lecture on marginal costing, I talked about what is marginal costing, where it is being used, how it is different from absorption costing. These were the issues which we discussed in our previous lecture. Now, to start with, I'll be talking about cost volume profit analysis. As you can see, you can read this cost volume profit. There are three terms that have been used in this analysis, that cost and the profit at different volumes. Cost, volume, profit. So under this cost volume profit analysis, we study that at different volume, at different level of production, or at, you may call it sales also, at different volume of sales, what will be the cost and what will be the profit. So this studying the relationship of cost and profit at different level of production or sales, whatever we call it, is called cost volume profit analysis. So this CVP, that is cost volume profit analysis, is an extension of the principle of marginal costing. It studies the interrelationship of three basic factors of business operation, that is cost of production, volume production or sales, and the profit. That is, once again to repeat, that at different volume of production or sales, the relationship of cost and the profit is called cost volume profit analysis. So the cost of a product determines its selling price, and the selling price determines the level of profit. As all of us know that the cost of a product means if in the long run the cost of a product will determine its selling price. That is, if the cost is high, in long run the selling price will also be high. If the cost is less, in the long run the selling price will also be less, right? And this selling price will determine the level of profit. Selling price also affects the volume of sales, which directly affects, we have studied in economics, the relationship of selling price and demand. If the price is low, the demand is high. This is a basic law of demand, right? If the price is high, the demand is low. The price is low, the demand is high. So the selling price affects the volume of sales, which directly affects the volume of production, and volume of production will influence the cost. If you are producing more, means in the long run your cost will come down. If you are producing less, the cost per unit will go up. So there is always a relationship of volume of production and the selling price and the cost aspect. CMIA means Chartered Institute of Management Accountant, London. It's a management body, has defined cost volume profit analysis as the study of the effect on future profits of change in fixed cost, variable cost, sales price, quantity and mix. Quantity mix. That is, if you change the fixed cost or variable cost or sales price or quantity mix. Quantity mix means in what proportion you sell different. Suppose you are producing three products, product A, product B, product C. So what is the proportion of each of these three products which you are selling? When A is say 50% sales consist of, or production consists of A product, 25% consists of B product, and 25% consists of the C product. So this is called product mix, right, or sales mix. And if this sales mix changes, certainly it is going to affect your cost volume profit analysis also. So how the fixed price, the variable price, the selling price, and this quantity mix will affect the profitability of the firm, this is being studied under the cost volume profit analysis. So an understanding of the cost volume profit analysis is extremely useful to the management in budgeting and profit planning, right? So in all, as a cost accountant, we must make profit planning. As a decision maker, we must make budgeting and profit planning. So this cost volume profit relationship, cost volume profit analysis will immensely help us in budgeting and profit planning. The other very important concept in marginal costing is break-even analysis. This concept of this break-even analysis is so important that sometime when the word marginal costing comes in our mind, the break-even analysis or the picture of the break-even analysis immediately emerges in your mind. It is such a strong influence of the break-even analysis on marginal costing decision making. Now, let me discuss what this break-even analysis means. It is a technique of the cost volume profit relationship. We have just read it, cost volume profit analysis relationship. So, in a narrow sense, it is concerned with determining the break-even point. And what is the break-even point? Friends, in break-even point means it is that level of production, or you may call it sales also. It is that level of sales where the firm incurs no profit, no loss. That is, your total cost is equal to your total sales value. That is called the break-even point in the business. It may be in terms of units, it may be in terms of sales. So, when we are using the term break-even analysis, in one sense, it is concerned with the finding out the break-even point. So, break-even point is that level of production and sales where there is no profit and no loss. At this point, total cost is equal to total sales revenue. In broader sense, it is used to determine probable profit or loss at given level of production or sales. Means, in a narrow sense, this break-even analysis is being used to find out the break-even point, that is the point of no profit, no loss. In a broader sense, it is used to determine that profit or loss at different levels of production or sales, right. So, when you use this term in a narrow sense, it is only in terms of the finding out the break-even point. When you use in a broader sense, it is used to find out that finding out the profit or loss at different levels of production or sales. So, break-even point, I have just mentioned it. It is the volume of output or sales at which total cost is exactly equal to total sales, right. That is sales and revenues and your cost is same. This is called the break-even point. So, it is point of no profit and no loss. This is the minimum point of production at which the total cost is recovered, and after this point profit begins. Whenever as an entrepreneur you start a business or any businessman starts a new venture, the very first thing it comes in our mind of the businessman is that what is the minimum level of sales, what is the minimum level of production where the firm will become break even. Because if you start a business, your very first objective is you start recover the cost, because when you start selling your goods or your services above the break even point, then your firm will start making profit. Up to that level of production, your level of your profit will not come, right. You may incur losses also. May incur means rather if the level of production or level of sales is below the break even point, you will incur losses. So, the very first objective of any entrepreneur is to take the business up to the break even point, especially in large size of business where the gestation period is long. You would always want that immediately as soon as possible you reach the break even point. So, at least you are able to recover your total cost, right. Now, let me discuss what are the assumptions underlying the break-even analysis. Whenever we talk of the break-even analysis, there are certain basic assumptions on the basis of which we develop this concept of break-even analysis. So, these assumptions are all cost can be separated into fixed and variable component, right. This whole concept of the marginal costing is based on the difference between fixed cost and variable cost, and we are presuming that when we are calculating when we are finding out the break-even analysis or when we are doing this break-even analysis, we are able to differentiate the cost into fixed component and the variable component. That out of the total cost, this much portion is of fixed cost, this much portion is of variable cost. Even those costs which are of semi-variable nature, we are able to differentiate, means we are able to segregate that of this semi-variable cost, what component is of fixed and what component is of variable. So, variable cost per unit remain constant. This we are presuming it, right. So, in the cost accounting we presume that variable cost per unit will remain constant, and the total variable cost, there are two terms, total and per unit. As far as the per unit variable cost is concerned, it will remain constant. That is, again let me take my same example of pen. if I am producing pen, each pen which I produce will cost me 6 rupees variable cost. So when I produce 1 lakh pen, it will cost me 6 lakh rupees. If I produce 2 lakh pen, it will cost me 12 lakh rupees. So the per pen variable cost is 6 rupees. And as I produce more and more, this variable cost will change in the same proportion as I change my level of production, right? In the same proportion of the level of the production. If I produce 1 lakh more units, my variable cost will also increase by 100%. That is, when I was producing 1 lakh pen, the variable cost was 6 rupees, 6 lakh rupees. When I produce 2 lakh pen, my variable cost is 12 lakh rupees. So it means the total variable cost is increasing in the same proportion in which I am increasing my production level. And the third assumption is the total fixed cost remain constant. So the fixed cost component will remain constant. But as far as the fixed cost per unit is concerned, it will keep on falling, right? So the total fixed cost will remain constant. Selling price per unit does not change as volume changes. Means under the cost accounting, we are presuming that as you increase or decrease your level of sales, the per unit selling price will not change. It will remain same. If I am selling my pen at 10 rupees per pen, I will continue to sell it whether I sell 1 lakh unit or I sell 2 lakh units of pen, right? The selling price will remain same 10 rupees. So there is only one product, or in the case of multiple product, the sales mix does not changes, right? Sales mix means if you are selling more than one product, if you are selling one product, that's fine. If you are selling more than one product, your proportion of the sales of each of the product which you are selling will remain same at different levels of sales or different levels of volume of production and sales, right? So volume of production equals volume of sales. Whatever you are producing, you are able to sell it. If you are producing 10 lakh pen per month, you are selling 10 lakh per pen. Means your level of production and your level of sales is same. Productivity per worker does not change. Friends, you should be very clear in your concept of production and productivity. When I say productivity, productivity means in terms of efficiency. What is productivity? How do you define productivity? Total production divided by number of units, input units. So if I say per worker, suppose you are producing 1 lakh pen, same example I am continuing, right? And you are employing 10,000 workers. So I will say productivity per worker is 10 pen per hour if I am taking in terms of hourly basis. So the productivity is in terms of the output that is being given by the inputs. The input in our example is say labor. So I am presuming that productivity per worker will not change. There will be no change in the general price level. The price level will remain same. That's why this means the variable cost component or the cost component will remain same. Now there is another very important concept after talking of the assumptions of the break-even analysis. Now let's discuss a very important concept called contribution, right? So assumptions we have discussed. So what is this contribution concept? This concept is quite widely being used in the marginal costing. Contribution is difference between sales price and variable cost. If I am selling my pen at 10 rupees per pen and my variable cost is 6 rupees, I will say my contribution per pen is 4 rupees, right? So this contribution of 4 rupees consists of fixed cost component and profit. If I say I am selling 1 lakh pen, my variable cost is 6 lakh, my fixed cost is 2 lakh. So at the first instance I will say my contribution is 4 lakh. 10 lakh sales minus 6 lakh variable cost, so my contribution is 4 lakh. Out of this 4 lakh, there is some component of fixed cost and some component of profit. So from this contribution, if I deduct my fixed cost component, what I will get? I will get profit figure, right? So means this contribution consists of fixed cost plus profit oblique loss. Supposing your fixed cost may be more than your contribution. Your contribution, I said, by selling 1 lakh pen, your variable cost is 6 rupees. So if the selling price is 10 lakh rupees, your contribution is 4 lakh. And if in a business, the fixed cost component is 5 lakh, So I'll say fixed cost 5 lakh plus profit oblique loss. So the loss is 1 lakh because your contribution is 4 lakh and your 4 lakh is equivalent to fixed cost component plus profit oblique loss component. So in this case there is a loss. So contribution can be fixed cost minus loss. So marginal cost equation is, this equation is very important. S minus V is equal to F plus P. Normally I have just explained this term, but this is being denoted like S minus V is equal to F plus P. That is, sales minus variable cost is equal to fixed cost plus profit. So if any three of the above 4 factors, which are these 4 factors? Sales, variable cost, fixed cost, profit. So out of these 4 factors, if you know any of these 3 factors, you can easily find out the 4th factor. The other important concept that is being used in the marginal costing is profit volume ratio. Friends, in today's lecture, I am making a theoretical base. We are trying to discuss the different theoretical concept or different concepts or different terminologies which are being used in the marginal costing. And on the basis of these terms, different contribution, profit volume relationship, right, PV ratios, then we will come to the practical aspect that how you, in a business like situation, how you find out the PV ratio, how you calculate contribution, how you calculate profit. So in this lecture we are discussing about the different conceptual aspect, the theoretical aspect of these different terms which we use in the marginal costing. See, another very important terms that we use in the marginal costing is PV ratio, right? This PV ratio is full form of this is profit volume ratio, but popularly known as PV ratio. This term is also being known as CS ratio. CS ratio means either you call it PV ratio or you call it CS ratio, is one and the same thing. That is, PV ratio means profit volume ratio, or we can also call it contribution to sales ratio, same thing, right? So also known as contribution to sales ratio, CS ratio, expresses the relationship of contribution to sales. So symbolically, PV ratio is equal to contribution divided by sales. As I said, it is known as contribution to sales ratio. So contribution divided by sales. And what is contribution? We have discussed this term. Sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution, or fixed cost plus profit is called contribution, or fixed cost minus loss is contribution. So the contribution divided by sales is known as the PV ratio, right? So contribution is equal to sales into PV ratio, right? So S is equal to sales is equal to contribution, means if you know the sales, right? So you can say contribution divided by PV ratio is equal to sales. So what are the uses of this PV ratio? This PV ratio helps us in finding out the break-even point, right? So if you know the PV ratio of any business, right, you can find out that what will be the break-even point, right? So if I say my sales is 1 crore rupees and my PV ratio is 40%, PV ratio is 40%. So I'll immediately find out that what is the break-even point, right? So calculation of profit at a given level of sales. This PV ratio is also being used to find out the profit at different levels of sales. It is also being used for calculation of profit when margin of safety is given. This concept of margin of safety I'll discuss in length in later part of this lecture or the next lecture. Let me tell you here itself, since this term has come. Margin of safety means the difference between the present level of sales and the break-even sales is called margin of safety. If you are selling 1 crore rupees per month and your break-even sale is 70 lakh rupees, right? So I'll say margin of safety is 30 lakh rupees, right? So this PV ratio is also being used for finding out profit when you know the margin of safety. Calculation of volume of sales required to earn a given profit. You want to know that what should be the level of sales to earn a desired profit. That is, if I want to earn 1 lakh rupees per month, how much sales should I make so that I can earn this much profit. So this can be also find out with the help of PV ratio. I'll discussing all these terms with the help of practical examples, right, in my next lecture. Calculation of volume of sales required to maintain the present level of profit if selling price is reduced. I want that whatever the profit I am earning, I am continue to means the business, the competition level in the business is increasing because of this increase in the level of competition level. Supposing I want to reduce the price of my goods, right? So how much sales should I make so that I can continue to earn the same profit which I am earning? This can also be find out with the help of the PV ratio, right? So now let me discuss in brief about the methods of break-even analysis. So this algebraic method is break-even point in terms of units is total fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. That is fixed cost divided by contribution. I said contribution means sales minus variable cost. So fixed cost divided by contribution per unit is called break-even point. If I want to know that how many units should I sell so that my firm become break-even. So if I want to calculate in terms of units, then I'll have to calculate in terms of fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. If I want to know that what is the break-even sales, right, then my answer will be, or then the calculation will be total fixed cost divided by PV ratio, right. So in terms of sales, if I want to find out the total fixed cost divided by PV ratio, and what is PV ratio? Contribution to sales. So that is total fixed cost divided by contribution to sales, right. So that is find out the break-even point in terms of the sales. So total fixed cost divided by PV ratio is equal to break-even point in terms of rupees, right. And there is another concept which let me discuss very briefly, that cash break-even point. When break-even point is calculated only with those fixed costs which are payable in cash, such a break-even point is known as cash break-even point, right. So this means that depreciation and other non-cash fixed costs are excluded from fixed cost in computing cash break-even point. Up till now we were discussing about break-even point, right, or break-even units. Now I am saying cash break-even. Cash break-even means in terms of cash when you will become break-even. So in this cash break-even will exclude the cost that are not being paid in terms of the money. That is, means depreciation and other non-fixed costs are excluded while calculating fixed cost. So cash break-even point is cash fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So friends, in this lecture we have discussed with you basically the cost volume profit analysis, the concept part only, the break-even analysis. We talked about the concept of contribution. We talked about the concept of PV ratio, right. We talked about, I just referred about the cash break-even point, and in brief I talked about margin of safety. So these are the different terms which we discussed in today's lecture. We will continue to discuss this marginal costing system in our next lectures. Thank you very much.